Hi, I'm Jeanne Fiorini. Thanks for tuning in to the Tarot Tips. Today we're going to continue our three-part series on comparing and contrasting pairs of cards. Cards that are similar in many ways, but also there's a definite distinction about what makes them different from another. This can be confusing when they come up in a reading or just in terms of learning the cards. Well, how is this one different from this? This looks a lot like the same thing. The tarot doesn't replicate itself. There are 78 pieces. Each one is different for a reason. Sometimes cards want to support an idea, so we might get a whole bunch of cards on the table that look very similar. That's telling you something. If the visual is similar, or if you have a lot of queens, or if you have a lot of sword cards, all of that's going to tell you something about what the message is. So today we're going to talk about the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. How are they similar? How are they different? Let's go to the tarot table. So here are our subjects for today, the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, right off the bat, you can see that it's very easy to wonder how are these two cards different. Especially in this version of tarot, the colors are very similar, the scene is very similar. One person is sitting, one person is standing, but we have this sense of opulence, this sense of calm, this sense of accomplishment that comes through in both cards. So essentially, okay, we'll start with how are they similar. Obviously, the pentacle aspect. Pentacles is the earth element, and pentacles represent aspects of security, stability, safety, well-being, accomplishment. It can be about money, but it's also about well-being, about physical wellness, personal confidence, and how competent do I feel? How able to manage life or not am I feeling in my life? Both of these figures have competence and a quiet confidence. Each one of these cards represents personal stability, someone who is self-reliant. We might notice in each of these cards, or it's important to notice in each of these cards, that there's a single individual person. So both the Queen and the Nine of Pentacles speak to the ability of a single individual, a unique individual, to provide for themselves, to accomplish a certain degree of personal success in their life, comfortableness in their life, to provide for themselves. Each of these aspects, I would say, identifies with their work, whatever, however they use their life, however they use their time, their energy. That's something that might be identified with both of these, with each of these cards. There's a certain integrity that each of these cards displays. We might get the idea that these aspects or these personalities have worked hard, and they're in a place now where they're reaping the benefits. I would say that each one of these cards doesn't mind hard work as long as it gets them some goodies, some kudos, some sense of accomplishment, and provides for themselves along the way. So a lot in common there, visually and as well as what the meaning of the card is. Now what we run into here, which I think happens in most of the suits between the personality cards and the Ace through 10 cards, is that there often is a confusion about, well, what are the personality cards? What are the court cards? How are they different from the 1 through the 10? So try to think of the personality cards or the court cards as attributes, as personality qualities, talents, gifts, ways of moving through the world. So this queen in particular shows the attributes and traits of someone who has provided security for herself, let's say for themselves. Someone who is comfortable with where they're sitting in their life. Someone who is, I would say, calm and centered with the Queen of Pentacles. Remember that the personality cards are about the energy, not about gender specific. They're depicted as a gender specific image, but they're not representing necessarily. For instance, the queen doesn't necessarily mean a woman. Could be a child, could be your driving instructor. It doesn't really matter. So the queen shows the attributes and traits of someone with all of those qualities that we mentioned in the previous section here. Personal stability. She values hard work. She's maybe identified with what her or their work is. The Nine of Pentacles shows that work has been accomplished. It's not the personality trait. It shows the experience of standing that firmly in your accomplishments. So in trying to think about how to maybe more fully explain this, the sword cards came to mind, in that the Ace of Swords, we could say, is about the black and white truth, kind of the bottom line truth. And the King is the personality aspect that uses that truth. Okay, so he's got it in his hand. He uses it cleanly, clearly, decisively. So the Minor Arcana card showing the situation, the personality card showing the way that that's being used in the world, or how do I walk through life using essentially this quality. So he's the implementer of the truth. In the same way, the Queen of Pentacles is implementing, knows how to embody success, quiet confidence. Oops, let me move this back down here like this. There we go. The other thing that I might say about the Nine and maybe the Queen is that more so with this one, that sometimes, and we all know people maybe who haven't really worked that hard, or put in, the long hours, showing results in financial security or, abundance, let's say. Sometimes we run across people who just have been born into that. I think that we have to say that both could be true with each of these cards. Here's somebody who is very comfortable in their physicality and with their resources. That's a common theme, I would say, between these two cards too. So again, let's go back to how are they different. The Queen, is the representative of using Pentacles in a way that's going to be effective for them, that's going to be reaping them the rewards that they desire. We do have this bunny here, which indicates that there's a certain fertility and kind parent aspect of this card that this card doesn't necessarily have. This card as a 9 is, you can think about the 9s as saturated, as really the fulfillment of the individual in the element. So the 9 of Pentacles is very much at the top of their game in terms of what they have built, how they are connected to their accomplishments. The Queen of Pentacles could be very happy in a little hut in the woods. So this isn't so much about the amount of what a person has. This one might be, because there's 9 of them, and it shows a lot of building and, you know, the grapes here, a lot of fruition coming here. This is about the contentment and the work that brought about the contentment. This is about the stuff. Yeah. So, you know, there's probably another 10 minutes we could talk about that, or and what those cards might have in common and how they might be different. But I hope that that helps define a little bit the difference between what the personality card brings to it and what the experience along the journey 1 through 10 might be showing up in terms of a card that comes up on the table. Okay, I hope that's helpful. We'll see you next time.